The John Deere 7810. This thing is amazing. It has 170, 175, or 180 PTO horsepower. Now this thing is incredible to drive in, but it does have one con. This thing is super rough. You ever had your liver shaken out? And that's what you're gonna get in this thing. It's got a solid front axle across the front, and it is 4x4. And the cab doesn't have much shock absorbent. So you're shaking here, shaking there, shaking it like this, and man, it's a rough rider, but it's great core engagement. I feel like I've been getting abs ever since I came out here and started working on this ranch. Now, back in 2023, we had this front wheel replaced. You won't believe the cost on all this. I think this front tire was $800 and something. This back one over here was about $1,500 plus install, which was $150. Tires from India, pretty cool, huh? Now, I'm a little worried about the tires on this side. The front left and the rear left are the original tires that came with this tractor back in 2003 or 4. 20 something years that they haven't been replaced. And there's a little bit of dry rot, nothing significant, but this big tire behind me on the left has me worried. I'm expecting to probably drop another $1,600 on that rear left tire. Let me show you. Now this tractor is a pure workhorse. Absolutely love this thing. This tractor was sitting for a little bit. Let me think real quick. Okay, so originally we thought it had a transmission issue. We've had 3 different mechanics look at it, maybe 2, don't remember. Now, we were quoted between $27,000 and $40-something thousand to fix the transmission on this tractor. Now, turns out there's a sensor on these tractors, a little annoying, but it's very specific on where it wants the hydraulic fluid level on this tractor. Too high, sensor goes off. Too low, sensor goes off. I wish there was a way to turn off that sensor. If you know, please tell me in the comments. I don't know if you can hear that. It is bobcat season. Eat 'em up, cats. Go, cats, go. I went to school at Texas State, so big fan of the Texas State Bobcats, but it sounds like there's some cats fighting over here in the distance. Some ranch kitties, not ours. I don't know where they come from. They just come. Anyways, back to this sensor. Not a big fan of it. I wish I could turn it off. Again, tell me in the comments if you know of a way to disable it. Anyways, to the point, the reason this tractor was not moving forward was because it was low on hydraulic fluid, all right? Now, you're probably sitting back and thinking, this dummy, this silly guy, why didn't he check the hydraulic fluid? I had not been around the past 2 years to mess with this thing, all right? I woke up one morning and I was like, hey, you know, this can't be the deal. And plus I was just going off of information that my dad had told me. He was like, hey, I think the transmission's going bad, etc. And well, I said, let me go look at it, you know, and hydraulic fluid was low. And a lot of these tractors around that time, and probably all the newer ones as well, I haven't driven one, have this sensor on it. It does have a slow hydraulic leak. So we do have to put hydraulic fluid in it probably once every 3 months or 6 months. Maybe this winter we can get around to working on it and we'll get that hydraulic fluid leak fixed. But an absolute workhorse. This tractor specifically pulls our heavy duty bush hog, which we need out here in our forage fields because our ant mounds can get about 3 to 4 foot high. I know you're probably thinking, no way, but I'm serious. I'm absolutely serious. Okay, maybe I'm over exaggerating. They get about 2 to 3 foot high. I don't know, 4 foot's kind of pushing it. I'll show you out in the field what I'm talking about. Completely ginormous. And when that field mower hits it, that thing just, and you got to have the horsepower to keep those blades turning. Let me show you the connection for this tractor. So we're using the John Deere HX15. It has a heavy duty 180 horsepower gearbox. Now this thing is just heavy. I mean, there's no way other to describe it. Everything you touch on this thing is just heavy, solid iron and steel. The PTO shaft is almost near impossible to put on. Now, maybe if I was running Coleman or Arnold Schwarzenegger, I might be able to do it. But I have to tie it up and I have to get the hammer and tap it in. It's a crazy PTO shaft. In comparison to our hay baler and our hay cutter, the PTO shafts are smaller. Let me show you what it looks like. Now, something this tractor didn't have working before was the AC. It's cooling okay. It's not exactly where I want it at. We can make some adjustments to the cab by tinting these windows, and I think that'd help it a lot. The AC comes out here at the steering wheel, and this engine is heating up the AC system, I believe. Now I could probably go in there and add some firewall stuff and tint the windows, and that might work, but I think it's cooling at about 60 to 62 degrees. Let's give this bad boy a start so you can hear it. I feel like king of the road on this tractor. This thing is just absolutely gigantic. Now I know there's bigger tractors out there, and that's cool. I'd love to have one of those large 300, 400, 500, 600 horsepower tractors, whatever they use to plow the thousands of acres, but you know, we're not in that business, you know. I had somebody once ask me, he's like, I'm not telling you what to do, but why do you do ranching and farming? I've had 2 people ask me that, and I said, well, you know, I don't know, it's just the way my dad's always done it, you know, and that's the way his daddy always did it. But some people say you got to choose one or the other. Some might disagree. I don't know. You tell me in the comments. Is it easier to do ranching or easier to do just farming? Or do you prefer both? And why do you prefer both? Anyways, king of the road in this thing. I got a radio up here where I can put in some Metallica CDs, maybe some Limp Bizkit CDs, maybe a George Strait CD. Yeah, that's how old this thing is. It's a CD player. For some of y'all that don't know what that is, basically it's a disc about yay wide, and it's got a little hole in the middle of it. You pick it up. On the top part of the disc, you're gonna have, you know, your artwork and your graphics that say, I don't know, what's a new singer these days? Cardi B, booty shaking music graphic on top, and the disc part is on the bottom, and you put it in and you slide it in. You're like, oh yeah, this song's cool, blah blah blah, you know, with all your friends. But
when the time goes, then you should go. I said go get it down low.
Not many CDs out there, but I still have quite a few, and a lot of it's just old grunge music from the 90s. So yeah, I have a Metallica album in there right now. Beyond that, it's got power shift controls. It's a bumpy ride, like I said, but you know, the seats, it needs a new bag in it, and you know, as long as you're going slow, I mean, we're in no rush. It does well, but very roomy cab. I love it. I love being up high. I love the way the 4-wheel drive looks from sitting in the cab. It just looks cool. The 3-point hitch in the back doesn't work right now, which is not a big deal because we don't use it. Mainly this thing's just for pulling and PTO power. I'd love to know what the issue is with that. I hear it's going to be an electrical issue because this is when they started putting electrical into all these tractors. A lot of sensors, but not as many sensors as all the new ones. I hear a lot of complaints about, you know, John Deere taking a long time to get out and service people's fields. I've heard even people lost crops and stuff like that. So let me show you around. So I got my AC controls right here. Dad has his sprayer controls over here. This right here operates the hydraulics, you know, whether you're lifting something or lowering something, or something needs to be running constantly, so constant high pressure flow. This right here turns on our PTO shaft. This right here works our 3-point hitch, which, like I said, doesn't work anymore. I don't know. Then right here you have your fuel lever, you know, push it all the way up for higher RPMs. And this is a very easy tractor to drive. It's got the powered shift right here. You just put it in gear and you know, you go all the way up. I don't go up that high. Typically I'm right around a 5. Reverse, I like to keep it slow and easy. No need to go fast or anything like that. Got the controllers for the horn, which doesn't work. Your lights are in the front. Light switch here, wiper blade, windshield wiper, because everybody loves doing work in the rain. Steering column is, you know, it's broken. So anyways, that's kind of it. Here's the cool radio. I got a little light here, that way I can read my newspaper that comes in every morning. Let me take y'all on a quick little spin, show you what we're working on. Oh yeah, look at that. We are rocking and rolling on this thing. Can you sense it and feel that power? Feels good. Now this tractor's doing that whole sensor thing. It just, the light flashes when that hydraulic fluid is just a little bit low. Now I get it. It's a safety mechanical issue. Not in the sense of safety like, oh, motor's gonna blow up or anything like that and hurt me. It's a precautionary, like, hey, this thing's going low, just be cognizant of that so your transmission doesn't get ruined. So I'm gonna have to put a little bit of hydraulic fluid. It ain't gonna take much, but just a tiny bit. I mean, it's just gonna be maybe a quart, if even. Once I put a quart in, this thing's good to go. Let me show you that flashing light. So I'm gonna pull it up next to the barn and get some hydraulic fluid. Put about a quart in there, and I'll turn on the PTO for y'all and show you how this thing works. Okay, we got this tractor parked on level ground. Gonna grab the hydraulic fluid and put that hydraulic fluid into it. You always want to put the hydraulic fluid in the tractor when the tractor's off, all right? Because when you have the tractor on, it builds up the pressure on that hydraulic fluid, raises, lowers, raises, lower. For whatever reasons, I don't know. I'm not a mechanic, all right? I'm a YouTube mechanic, all right? All right. Hey, y'all keep y'all's eyes off my John Deere 4240, all right? Hey, let me get, whoa. Anyway, let's put some hydraulic fluid in this thing, all right? It's got a little hourglass on there that tells you how much hydraulic fluid's in it. So I changed my mind. I'm not gonna put any hydraulic fluid in it right now because that's exactly where we want it at. So when I moved the tractor around, it didn't do the transmission thing and go into what I call like a limp mode or slips it into neutral. But if I were to put hydraulic fluid in it, it'd go in right here. So I don't know if there's an issue with the hydraulic fluid just not building enough pressure, and it takes a while for it to build up its pressure. My dad did tell me back in the day that you need to let this tractor warm up and then it's good to go. So I don't think it's supposed to be like that. I think there's a pressure issue on this tractor. Now I'm not gonna try to fix it today or tomorrow. We got all winter to do all that. I don't even know if I can afford it. You know, we might just have to let it warm up and do all that. So Now this is one of our hay fields, right? So the Johnson grass is growing right now. It's not that tall, but the secret to Johnson grass is obviously pesticide. But the next thing is that if you don't want to use the pesticide, is to cut it and cut it often. The more you cut it, the weaker it gets. Now I've already done some of this field. I'm just going to show you this mower in action and kind of what we're doing out here in the hay fields versus the forage fields. Let me show you that Johnson grass real quick. These little grasses are terrible, and by little, they're little now, but they can get about 6 foot tall or even taller. They're terrible for the hay baler, mess up the teeth and all kinds of other internal parts. So we got our RPMs up all the way. We'll flip the switch over here, which is our PTO, and that's it. Oh, I can feel the horsepower right now. So we're not cutting much. Obviously we're only cutting those broader leaf grasses, which is the Johnson grass, and we'll get it short. It should grow in pretty weak going into the winter time or springtime. The reason it grows in weaker is because when it goes dormant, it doesn't come back from wintertime with a broad leaf, and those broad leaves are like solar panels. So dormancy this tall, going into spring, summer, they just come back ferocious and strong, and I don't like them. So anyways, we're cutting them down. We're gonna make them weak going into the wintertime, and that'll allow a lot of our nice coastal grass to come up stronger than the Johnson grass. So we're not even touching the coastal grass right now. It's gonna stay at a length of about, I don't know, roughly 3 to 4 inches. So it's still green when we're cutting it. We don't want to scalp it and get it all brown. Now I just made a couple rounds on that tractor. I didn't finish that field. I just kind of wanted to show y'all what I'm working on in the hay fields. So we're going to get that taken care of at lot 1, lot 3, lot 4, and lot 5. Now this lot behind me has been vacant for several years. Now my plan on this lot is to turn it into a holding pen for either our cows that are pregnant or some heifers that will soon be new mothers. Keep an eye on their birth and see how they're doing. There is a stock tank behind us. This holding spot is about maybe 15 to 20 acres total. So we need to utilize it. But the big problem with this lot is, number one, it's overgrown. And you can see behind me, I've started cutting it down. It's got really bad fence. Okay, now a section of this fence way in the back like that, it makes a perfect rectangle. So way back in the left over there, a tornado tore the fence down. Yeah, that's right. That's a tornado forming right now. That's crazy. Check it out, guys. Tornado just hit Texas beef farm in the back. Our whole entire fence line has gone all the way up to the front. It's another tornado on the way. the tornado's path was completely along the fence line. So completely weird. Tornado came this way and then it came this way. So came in from the west heading east and then moved north, and all the fence line was completely torn down, trees everywhere. So we took care of that last year back in, I think it was maybe like April or May, I don't remember. Then we had to leave the cows on the other forage lot just because this other lot was unusable, and then obviously this one hasn't been usable in a long time. Looking forward to using it and either putting, again, pregnant cows or new pregnant heifers or the steers, or maybe just the bull. I mean, we need him far away from the cows so they don't see each other, or he doesn't see them and gets all crazy and tears down the fence. I'm a little worried about getting a new bull because our bull right now doesn't tear down fences, and let's say I get a bull that does tear down fences, it's gonna cause problems. But anyways, all this fencing needs to be redone. So it's just rusted, the barbed wire's rusted, all the posts are wood posts and they're knocked over or rotted. I mean, even this one's, I mean, look at this thing, it's not even in the ground. So a lot of work. Now what I could do in the meantime, which I'm considering, is if you look up behind me, my dad has these posts already installed, and he has some more posts installed about 200 yards away. I'm considering making this a temporary hay lot and putting our hay all through here in these high sections, and stacking it into two on the ground and then one in the middle, and putting all our hay over here and turning our hay lot now into a holding pen for our steers and whatever else we need. All right, let me show you. Okay, so currently I'm standing in our hay storage field. It's about 2.5 acres. Now the thing is, we don't need this much acreage for all this hay. Actually, so little hay. There's about 600 bales, believe it or not, scattered here, scattered over there, still out in the field because I haven't picked them up yet. But we don't need to utilize all this land for just, such little space. So what my plan is to turn this into an area where cows can graze and eat. And it's gonna be a lot easier because there's a fence line running this direction that's in decent shape. We can mend it, we can fix it. And then this fence over here was fixed around January of 2024, roughly. And it's in great condition. So where the tree line is in the back, I could bring the fence closer on this side or the other side, just depends. I might do it on the other side of the trees. That way the cows can hang out underneath the trees and get some shade. Now what I'm gonna do is take it to this corner and then take it at an angle and take it all the way to the barn and have an entry where I could drive my truck in and put a lock pad and all that, and they'll have access to a pond here, and then they'll have access to a pond there, all right? And this could also help me separate whoever I need to separate. Like, hey, we have them in the corral, let's bring them this direction and put them in this lot, because there is gates that open up to this side. And then, hey, we need to put these other cows over here. Hey, we got to put the steers, and then we need to put, our other steers that are on different feed schedules, because, the steers that are already in, the winter time are going to have a different feed schedule than the steers that are ready in, I don't know, let's say, May or whatever. So, or April. Okay. So, we're going to get started probably on this one very soon. And we're going to take a lot of the old fence posts out here that we just don't need no more, okay? There's a hay lot over here connected to lot 2 and lot 3. Well, they're separated by a barbed wire fence and T-posts. We're gonna take all of that down and reuse all of that material to help us put this fence up, okay? And then the next thing is, it's just easier to work over here. The pasture's been taken care of, it's clean. I can go on the other side and put the fence on the hayfield, or, you know, it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna be walking around in knee-high, you know, grass like that other lot I just showed you a while ago. There's a lot of vegetation and growth underneath a lot of those trees. Now I do want to redo all that fencing, but that's going to be a bigger job. So very excited about starting this one and moving all this hay and having this as an area that we can utilize to move all our cattle as we need. Now the next one we're going to be working on is the holding pen over here in this section, and that's going to be very easy. Let me show you that. So right behind me is where our fence is going to go. So this fence is going to be the gateway going in to our forage pastures, all right? So think about a perfect rectangle, right? Or how about a perfect square? And the lot is divided in the middle, and that allows us to rotate our cattle, right? And it kind of veers off to the back, so it's not a perfect square, but you know, I don't even know what kind of shape you'd call that. It looks like the state of California, you know, but anyways, this is the gateway, okay? So if we have the lots and one of the forage lots, what we'll do is we'll herd them and run them into this section. So I'm gonna have two gates here, right? So one gate's gonna be smaller, the other one's probably gonna be larger. That way I can bring, you know, obviously the equipment out here. But the reason I have two gates is because the large one on the left, it's gonna be used to bring in the cattle back out into the, you know, the forage lots. And then I'm gonna narrow it down over here. That way, when they're herding in the cattle, they get into a smaller section and a smaller gate, and it's easier to bring them in. So we're also going to start on this one very soon. We've got all the material. I might even start working on this weekend. I could probably finish it within 2 days. Super excited about that. Once we do that, we can let the steers and the bull out and let them run around in this lot. This lot is roughly between 12 to 15 acres. Once we close it off, they'll have access to the pond over there. You know, we can drive our trucks out here and feed them, and they can forage on all this grass. Unfortunately, we're coming into winter, so they're not gonna have much forage, maybe for the next 3 to 4 weeks, but they'll get some freedom, and that's the main thing. Okay, now right behind me is what I call an abandoned project, all right? Dad started working on this thing. He put all the materials out here to work on it. You know, the corrugated metal. And we've had, you know, crazy thunderstorms out here and blows of metal. I mean, there's metal there, there's metal over there. Hell, I ran over a little bit of it mowing the pasture, but I'm gonna resurrect this project again, all right? So you might be watching this video and being like, man, this guy really doesn't know much about the tractors or etc., which is fine, but I'll tell you what, I know a lot about construction, and I'm very excited to be putting this back together, okay? It's not gonna be, you know, your Hilton hotel, or, you know, or one of those high, tall skyscrapers that you see in Austin, you know, but these cows need shade, all right? And we're gonna build that and give them a little bit of wind protection. So on this side specifically, that's the north. We want to put a little bit of wind protection for them so they can go in there and, you know, escape the elements, because right now they don't have that, unfortunately. In addition to that, I got big plans for these sheltered areas for our cows. I want to enclose them with a gate, and I want to have a chute that goes out towards the back. That way, in the event that we need to bring a cow in because we think she's sick or she's in labor and she's having issues, we can bring them in there, feed them, and then take her out the back and load her into the cattle trailer. All right, so we're gonna build one here, right? And then we're gonna build one on our other forage lot. So I'm on lot forage 1 specifically. It's like the shape of California, okay? Yeah, I know, terrible state. All right, no, I'm just kidding, all right? For any of y'all out there in California, I love it, all right? Absolutely beautiful, great weather, all right? You just gotta clean up your streets, all right? Anyways, we'll leave the politics out of it, all right. So feedlot number 2 is way in the back. I'm gonna put up a couple sheltered areas for them there too, and same concept, right? Square it off, close it in, and have a chute go out the back. That way in the event that sick cow, or hey, we need to bring these young bulls in and castrate them and start weaning them, we can do that. And right now it's a little hard, right? I mean, I get it, it's fun to bring your horse out here and, you know, hey, let's herd in these cows, but you know, I'm all about efficiency and time. I hate wasting time. But again, construction is my expertise, and I cannot wait to throw this up and throw up the other one and show y'all what I can build. So if you're interested in checking out my portfolio online, my website is www.yourbuild.com, and that's YOURBUILD.com. You tell me what you want, we'll build it, all right? But right now we're focused on Texas Bee Farm, and it's ran and operated by Your Build, which is why we call it Your Build TV. All right. Cool. Let me show you where those other shelters are that my dad started, and show you forage lot number 2. Okay, y'all, so standing behind me is the gateway to feed lot number 2. All right, we can call it feed lot, we can call it forage lot, whatever you want to call it, but this is the general area where the cows hang out. All right, they hang, they eat, they drink water. We have ponds full of water, and you know, we feed them there. All right, and you got to rotate these cattle because they will tear up your land. Anyways, behind me is the gateway. And it's not so much of a gate right now. I mean, look at this thing. It's fallen down, it's all torn down. We have plans to replace that too. And this fence line going that direction and that direction will be completely mended. That way, if we have cattle over here, let's say in the winter time, and we could put, I don't know, let's say we know cows aren't pregnant over here, and you know, we're in the breeding season going into, I don't know, May or April, or April, May, June, or let's just say March, April, May, and then we have other, well, hold on, not breeding seasons, I'm sorry. Let's say birth seasons, all right? So if we have like March, April, May, we can have those drops happening over here, or if we have, you know, let's say our drops happening through September, October, November, we can have them over here, or vice versa over here, and then some steers over here. It just gives us more freedom to open gates and move here and then move there. So we already have a nice gate. We just need to get some dead man posts and put that up. So we'll probably be working on that also in the next 2 weeks. Now, I don't know if you can see behind me, but way back in there is where those shelters are at. And those are the ones that I'm going to be redoing as well. Let's take a closer look. So right behind me, on my right and on my left, are a couple shelters Dad started and just never finished, right? I am super excited, very, 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 very excited to get on these construction projects and throw these cows up a shelter. The same way I'm gonna do the other one, I'm gonna close it off into a square with a chute in the back. Now these cows are very, very lucky. We have lakefront property for all our cattle over here. I mean, you're talking about walking out of your little house and going straight to the lake. You're dealing with top dollar luxury living right here. Hell, I might have to go build me a little office with a futon in it and come out and just enjoy the views and the beauty. Maybe I'll Airbnb it, who knows? Let me show you this lakefront property. Absolutely beautiful, all right? It's not a lake, okay? It's a pond, all right? But for our cattle, hey, what else could you ask for, right? One more thing I'm gonna show y'all, which is what we were working on. When I said we were cutting, you know, our forage lots for our cattle, I'm gonna kind of show you what we meant. So after all that beautiful, lush April, May forage grows in, the weeds come and we need to spray pesticide. You know, I'm on the fence about pesticide, all right, because I have a bad feeling about spraying chemicals on products that we eat, and that chemical going into the ground, and then let's say, for example, maybe it rains and it leaches in to their lakefront property over here, and they drink out of that water. So, you know, I think there's a lot of carcinogenics out there, and I'm just not on board yet. So I drove the tractor through here specifically, and you can see how high some of these weeds grow in. Now cutting it down is going to allow a lot of this coastal Bermuda grass to grow in, and we're going to weaken the weeds going into the winter time. So the weaker they are, or basically if they go into the winter short, there's less opportunity for them to grow back strong. And I mean, look at these things. They're knee high to me, which is they're about 2 foot tall. I mean, some sections are, you know, 3 foot for whatever weed this is. You know, if you get some of those cockaburs, they can hit up about 3 foot. Ragweeds can get real tall too. We have pretty much forage lot 1 done. I didn't finish forage lot 2 just because babies are dropping, and you know, you get a calf in this 3 foot tall grass, you ain't gonna see it. So we'll hold off on that until we feel good about it. But you can see how tall this stuff is. So I've cut a few areas about 30 foot wide from front to back. That way I can drive my truck in it safely, not run over any newborn calves, and I can look to my left, I can look to my right and see if there's any babies out there. Typically the mothers will let you know, they'll keep their eyes in that area. And also we have had a little bit of rain, so that allows some of the new grasses to grow in and you know, grow whatever we can before we go into the winter. Anyways, let's go check on the cows real quick.